Syntax FM is one of the Syntax FM is one of the top. You know, I can't do this. I was backstage watching Eve's concession speech, and she called me divisive. It was honestly one of the nicest things she's ever said about me. I really can't believe that she thinks that I am influential enough to be divisive. You know, it was our dream to host a tech conference together. We do everything together. We ski together, we write books together, we learn new languages together, and we let crowdsourcing tear us apart. You know, the internet is a wonderful idea. It's a great place until you people got on it. You web developers. I think that there can be two hosts. I don't think we should have ever split this thing up. Eve, can you come back out and host with me? Eve, what are you doing? Where's your normal clothes?
These are my normal clothes.
Great, well, I'm really glad to have you back, and I think that we should both host this show together.
Really?
Yeah, because I can't read this card. Can you read this card for me?
Totally. I'll hold it with my hook. Syntax FM is one of the top podcasts for web developers. Its hosts are two amazing teachers and entrepreneurs. Please welcome our very special guests, Wes Bos and Scott Tolinski. Yeah.
Hey, folks.
Hey. Yep.
How's it going?
Test. Yeah.
Sounding okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Hello?
So ready to
Yes.
sit down? Oh, all right. Let's do it.
Got it.
Cool. Thank you so much for everyone for coming out. This is really, really cool. For those who don't know, Scott and I run a podcast weekly. On Monday, we have something called Hasty Treats, which is like we try to keep it to 15 minutes. Sometimes it goes to 45 minutes, but it's supposed to be like a small, applicable piece of web development. Bite size, yeah.
On Wednesdays, we have Tasty Treats, and these are our longer, hour-long episodes where we deep dive into a topic. We spread it out over the course of an hour and really get in there and get some tasty treats.
Get some taste. It's stupid. We call everything tasty on the podcast. Anyone listened to the podcast before? Oh, awesome. Go ahead. I'm not Scott.
Yeah, you're not. My name is Scott Tolinski. I'm a developer from Denver, Colorado. I am on the Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff at stolinski and Level Up Tutorials.
My name is Wes Bos. I'm from Canada, which is why I say JavaScript funny or correctly. Anyone else from Canada? Actually?
Crackly?
Woo!
Is Crackly?
Like any real Canadians, not the ones that moved down here for the money? No? A couple. Hey, here we go. 1, 2. All right. So today's a live podcast. We're going to be recording it here, obviously, with you. There's a lot of interaction. Pretty excited about it. We'll also push this out on the regular feed as well. So today, here's the plan. First, we're going to start off with who's snacking on React. We're going to go through a bunch of different websites, and you are going to guess via your phones which website is built in React.
Next, we have Hooked on Hooks, where we're going to give you some sick tips and some of these things with hooks that we really like.
Then we have This, That, or Both. It's a little game where we, actually, let's not even describe it. It's freaking hilarious, so get excited for that.
It's pretty fun. Yeah. After that, we have, this is going to be really exciting. We're going to explain a little bit more when we start it, but we have a tag team coding challenge where Wes and I are going to attempt to code something live.
I'm so nervous about it.
And yeah, on one computer. It's going to be a blast.
And my computer it's a MacBook, so sometimes the keys go double. You know,
yeah.
like if you get
you
you get crumbs in it. And I was eating a Nature Valley bar earlier, so there's crumbs everywhere.
It's done. It's toast. Might as well get a new one.
Next up, we have stumped interview questions. So we're going to invite you, the bravest folks in the crowd, to come up and answer some hard, some very easy interview questions. If you win, you get some prizes.
After that, we're going to be talking about unpopular React opinions.
Who isn't sick of that yet?
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's the hip thing right now.
It's the hot thing.
Yeah.
And finally, we'll end it off with a Q&A with Scott and Wes. So if you have any questions about breakdancing or barbecue or actual web development stuff, you can ask us those. So what we need you to do now is to take out your mobile phone out of your pocket and visit this website, pigeonhole.at/tasty, or just go to pigeonhole.at, type in tasty, or scan the QR code.
There, no QR code.
What?
There's no QR.
Oh! Can we please get my screen on this screen?
There we go. It's black. It's a good start.
So you didn't even see our sweet slides
No,
yet?
that's what I was trying to
Oh,
tell you.
shit. Shoot. We've got to... Adam, cut that out. Our editor will cut that out so we don't get the explicit tag. Don't worry, we're getting it fixed.
There we go. I saw.
There we go. All right.
Hey.
We got 5 participants going.
We're snacking. Who's snacking?
So click on the one that says who's snacking on React. You'll see there's 2 different ones.
Yeah, don't click on the other one. Not yet.
Not yet. That's for later.
Yeah.
46, 48.
Yeah. Climbing. Keep it climbing.
While we're waiting, props to the folks at Pigeonhole. Built this wicked web app that's all built on WebSockets, and it's all instantly live. And they hooked us up with their software to do these live shows, which is really cool.
It's been amazing.
Yeah. All right, we got almost 100 people. At 100, the cake arrives, and we'll start it.
Yeah, but you can continue to join
You
even
can
after
join
we
anytime
started.
if you're still typing. Pigeonhole.at/tasty. AOL keyword tasty.
Yeah, big old. All right.
All right, start it up, Scott. 99.
Yay! All right.
All right. So, the question is, whose website is built on React? Elton John or Ariana Grande?
All right, let's see
70
these votes
votes.
come in.
Oh, man, we got 130 people in here now?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, reveals coming in. Lock those votes in right now.
Lock 'em. What's that from? Lock 'em
Who
in.
wants to be a millionaire, maybe?
Yeah, the audience?
Audience?
Yeah, lock them in. All right,
Lock 'em in.
let's see it.
All right.
Everybody's voted.
Yes, I want to reveal.
Whoa, incorrect. Elton John,
Elton John.
is using React. Ariana Grande, probably
Not.
View or something crappy. Yeah. So, next up.
Next up is Ferrari.com or Lamborghini.com. Who's using the blazingly fast?
All right, 100.
100. All right. Lock them in. Ready to reveal.
You got it.
It gives me the
good
confirmation
confirm.
every time.
Oh, 50%.
That's an even split.
50.7% thought Lamborghini, which is correct.
Wow.
That was a 50-50 guess.
Okay. That was a tight race.
Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts? Who is using React to order your coffee or recharge your cards?
These are tight.
Ooh, boy, I can see the stats on Scott.
I know.
Dunkin' Donuts.
All right.
Here it is.
That one came in at the last second for the.
Whoa! The correct answer is Starbucks at 50.7% is using React. Wow.
Kind of surprising.
That's surprising. I probably would have voted Starbucks.
Although
there.
Dunkin' Donuts is just Dunkin' now.
Yeah, but their website is still DunkinDonuts.com. We don't even have Dunkin' Donuts in Canada. It's
You
just
got Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons,
Tim
which Tim Hortons uses React, by the way. So, all right, next one, please, Scott.
All right. Is it Wayfair or IKEA?
I think people know this one.
Do you?
So Wayfair is like a Wayfair, you get just what I need.
Yeah.
And IKEA is you know what IKEA
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
right?
It doesn't need a song.
You don't need
Yeah.
IKEA.
All right. I'm going to lock this in. Gosh.
73.6% of you were correct. Wayfair.com runs on React. It's actually a massive React application that runs many, many properties, so it's kind of interesting.
Tables and chairs and.
Tables, chairs, blankets, throws.
Yeah.
Next is CVS.com or Walgreens.
Oh, it's a close one.
The double R is because of my crummy keyboard. Did you, while we're waiting, did anyone see the code pen the other day of someone who made the infinite scrolling receipt? CVS receipt?
CVS receipt.
And like as you got to the bottom of the receipt, it would just kept loading it longer and longer and longer. Oh, I was howling. So funny. And
oh,
you're wrong.
These are all really
Only
close.
47% of you guessed correctly. Walgreens.com is using React.
Wild. All right.
All right, that's it. Best. Somebody got 5 out of 5. Average score 2.47. So who got 5 out of 5? Wow, that's impressive. That guy views sources. All right, we're going to continue going on. Now we're going to talk about hooked on hooks. These are some spicy tips or hot tips. Are they spicy? They're spicy for working with hooks. How many of you are using hooks already in production? Wow, that's like half of you. That's impressive.
Yeah.
I guess that's the kind of person that
hand.
goes to a conference on React, though. Yeah.
Okay.
So, go for it. Oh,
Yeah, we gotta.
here you go, Scott. Press the button to go next.
Oh no, I'm trying to get the.
Oh.
Wow. Here we go. Yeah. So this is really super easy to use something like local storage as if it was just set state. I mean, in the past, it wasn't necessarily difficult to use local storage, but now we have a hook, and it really functions and feels just like use state. Throw it into storage, pull it out of storage. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't. So we basically just have a function that takes a key and an initial value. We're using use state inside of here for the stored value and set stored value, but really there's nothing crazy here because we're just setting it with window.location get item, and then we pass the key in. And the same thing with set value. We can just do basically the same thing here until we're returning our stored value and our set value. It doesn't get any easier than this.
Except for mine.
Except for yours, but yours is.
By the way, did anyone see the
practical.
new standard lib key value storage? It's like a synchronous or asynchronous local storage. Anyone see that? No, there's like this new thing coming to the browser that's like standard lib, because you know how JavaScript has nothing and we have to npm install everything. We're starting to get like standard libraries, and the first standard library added to the browser is an asynchronous API for local storage. Seems pretty cool. Next one is for Socket.io, WebSockets. This is one that I was working with a drone. I was flying a drone with JavaScript because that's a dumb idea. And the drone was, I set up a WebSocket server that would send me the data from the drone to my front end via WebSockets, because if something with blades is flying at you quickly, you should be able to stop it quickly, and WebSockets does that. So what I need to do is capture the state of what the different data as to what the drone was doing, how high it was, the tilts, the yaw, all that stuff. So I have some internal state in this use drone socket hook. And then I simply take my socket, which is the Socket.io connection. We listen for a specific message coming in on that WebSocket. When that comes in, you set that data to state. When the socket is, or when this hook is removed, then you remove your event listener, clean up after yourself, and then finally just return that actual drone state. Then you just got this object full of drone state. You can use that anywhere inside of your React component.
Nice. Next up, we have use click on outside or use click outside. This one actually comes to us from usehooks.com.
Best site ever.
It's the best site ever, especially if you're diving into hooks right now, because there's so many really practical examples. And to me, just pawing through these made me have a better understanding of how to write hooks myself. So this is a really great example because all it does is take a ref and a handler, and so many times we have menus that you have the menu, you want to click outside the menu anywhere, and you want the menu to close. So by simply throwing this hook, you're testing to see if the thing that you're referencing and where your click is is in the same place as where the thing you're referencing. So therefore, if it is, then don't do anything. And if it's outside of that, run whatever handler, whatever event that you're passing in here. This is a really great example too, because it also shows adding an event listener and then removing the event listener on cleanup is something that you'll probably end up doing quite a bit. Yeah.
This little contains. Pretty much jQuery is in the browser now.
Yeah.
That contains.
Yeah.
Hot tip. If you didn't know about contains, Start using it today.
Yeah.
Next up, we have use key press. So I saw this one on use hooks, and I said, I'm going to write it myself because I find that's the easiest way to grasp what's going on. And very often in my applications, I need to know, is somebody currently have a key down? And right now, if you want to know if a key is currently down, you have to you need the event, right? You need to be able to access it, and then you set a variable outside. So this use key press hook it's pretty simple. When somebody presses down the key, you set it to true, and when someone releases that key, it sets it to false. And here, let me show you how it actually works here. So we've got the use key press hook here. You pass it a letter, H, for example, and that will return a Boolean, whether it's currently down or not. And then you're developers, you know what to do with Booleans. You can do things like style them a little bit differently. Here I'm using a CSS variable where I'm just setting it to different colors, and then we go ahead and set the color of the actual thing, the component to be that specific color. So it's pretty cool. It uses internal state as well as use effect, which cleans up after itself, and then finally just returns the actual key.
Yeah, and lastly, I don't know how many people here have used React Measure. React Measure is an extremely handy library for measuring things, but now with hooks, you can build your own mini React Measure in absolutely nothing at all, and just really the bulk of it is in Resize Observer, which is the browser API that basically does everything for you. Nothing fancy here. We're just simply able to now have a use measure where we can measure literally anything we want in how many lines of code is this? This is less than
15. No, 15
no,
minus 11.
9. 4 minus 15. 4.
9.
Yeah.
9. Yeah.
9. Yeah.
No.
11.
11. How do we have jobs? Oh, it's because no one hired us. This is really cool because we also have new intersection observer in the browser. Intersection observer will tell you whether an element is currently on screen or off screen or slightly scrolled into view or slightly scrolled out of view. And that's really cool because now you could make a hook called it's probably already made use is visible or use is on screen. And that will be able to give you a Boolean of whether it's currently scrolled into view or not. And then, or it'll give you what's called the intersection ratio. It's currently half scrolled into view. So do one of those annoying things where the swoops in from the side or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's it for our hooks. Hopefully you enjoyed those. We're gonna play another game called This, That, or Both. So take out your phones again and go to pigeonhole.at/tasty.
Tasty. And this time select this, that, or both. But although we actually have a neither option this time.
Some of them have neither.
Some of them have neither. It gets a little tricky. Oh yeah, it's climbing. It's climbing way faster.
I gotta. Oh, there we go. Everybody's arrived. All right. Start it up, Scott.
Starting this one up.
First one. Gutenberg. Is it a WordPress GUI plugin for creating React-based Gutenberg blocks?
A 90s budget TV show about cyborgs who read.
Both or neither?
Oh yeah, coming in.
How many of you are WordPress devs? No one. One. Formerly. Oh, okay. Congratulations. Joking. I joke. All right, show us, Scott.
Lock those in.
Lock them in.
Revealing.
Whoa. Neither. Only 27 of you. So 40% of you thought it was a WordPress GUI for creating. That's
reasonable.
That's pretty reasonable, don't you think?
Yeah.
Gutenberg?
It's reasonable.
You're allowed to take that if you want.
Yeah.
And create a WordPress plugin.
Yeah.
Almost nobody picked the 90s TV show.
Next up, we have Nashorn. Is this a JavaScript or a Java-based JavaScript engine developed by Oracle?
Or a popular rock climbing spot in Denver, Colorado? The Nashorn.
The Nashorn. I'm going to go grab some Nash and the Nashorn.
All right, let's see it, Scott.
Revealing. Lock 'em in.
Whoa, 66% of you guessed wrong. It is not a rock climbing spot. It is a Java-based JavaScript engine developed by Oracle. So, anyone ever used it before? A couple of you? Apparently you can do server-side rendering in Java with Nashorn. So now you know.
Yeah.
It's a cool name.
It's a cool name.
Probably sucks to use, though. Just joking. Next up is easy peasy. Is it a React state library?
Or a children's dish set.
100 votes.
Lock 'em in.
All right, let's see it.
Lock 'em in. All right, here
This
comes
is
the
an
reveal.
upset.
This is an upset. I think Landon has one of these.
Oh, it is a React state library. It is, right?
It is.
Okay, good. I'm like, did I get this wrong? No, it is not a children's dish set, 70% of you. That was a good one. A good trick.
Eating peas with it, yeah. All right. Next up we have Use Boxman. Is this a hooks library for box model dimensions?
Or a puzzle-based flash strategy game for kids.
Use Boxman. Lock those votes in.
All right, Regis.
Gotta lock them in.
Lock them in.
Gotta get those locked in. All right, here comes the reveal.
That's a close one.
Snooze or lose.
Ooh. 46% of you were wrong. Or were right, sorry.
Yes.
Most of you were wrong.
Most
It
of you
is
were wrong.
a flash game for kids, not a box model. You should have known that because Scott just showed you a hook that you could do it with resize observer. Next up is togs. Is it a lightweight stylable toggle component for React?
Or rain-resistant outdoor gear.
There's almost none of these that people know, eh?
This is good
Last time
luck.
we did it, there was a couple that like almost everybody knew.
Yeah,
But-
I thought easy peasy was big enough.
yeah.
All right. Here comes the reveal.
Boom.
Oh!
Whoa!
It's a perfect
It's
tie.
a dead tie.
It's 73 to 7.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
So 50% were correct. Rain-resistant outdoor gear. Although that would be like that's such a React component name.
Somebody take that,
Togs,
yeah.
blazing
Togs.
fast toggle library
Yeah.
for React.
Togs.
You know,
It's as good as gone. Somebody's getting
like
it right.
I found Togs like rain gear, and I was like, that's gotta be a React component too, and it wasn't. So
All right.
somebody get the GitHub, get NPM, get it right
Get
now.
the GitHub. Get the GitHub. We're here. All right, next up we have Landwind. Is this a set of React components for using Tailwind CSS?
Or is it a Chinese knockoff Land Rover SUV?
Oh, this is a close one. All right. Get those votes in. Here comes the reveal.
Whoa!
Oh!
What an upset!
Upset.
Only 30% of you knew that this is actually a Chinese knockoff of exactly a Land Rover SUV. Look it up, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
That was a good one,
yeah,
eh?
I think that broke some people's streaks.
Yeah. Next up is FreeFlow. Is it a state management library built on state, context, and hooks?
Or a California-based hot tub company. All right. Get your vote in.
Lock them in, folks.
Lock them in. Lock them. Oh, these are brutal.
It is
Yeah?
indeed a California-based hot tub company. At 40% of you guessed that. It is not a state management library built on state, context, and hooks. So, again, please feel free.
Hooks is almost cruel because it's so new.
Yeah, it's so new that probably people haven't heard of it yet.
All right. Lastly, we have Ubergrippen. Is this a popular rock climbing spot in Denver?
Or is it a client-side video stabilization framework built on the file reader API?
Oh, yeah.
Ubergrippen. We should have put like on Uber, like Uber open source. Does it? That would have been good.
Yeah, that would have been good. Let's get the answer here. Lock those votes in.
Oh, correct.
Yes, it is.
62%. Yes, it is a rock climbing spot in Denver. So Uber Grippin is. What was the other one?
Oh.
Whatever the other one is. All right,
Whatever.
that's it. 7 out of 8. Who got the 7 out of 8? The same guy? That's impressive.
It's impressive.
Wow.
Quizmaster.
No, 2 people got 7 out of 8. That was very good.
Very impressive.
Beautiful. All right, let's go on to the next section. Who here watches, what's this Gordon Ramsay show called? MasterChef.
MasterChef.
Who watches MasterChef? Only like 3 people. Okay, so on MasterChef, what happens is that they have tag team, and one person has to cook, and the other person has to stand there and not, well, you can say stuff, but you can't like actually help.
out.
And then Gordon Ramsay stands there and yells at you. So we thought that this would be funny to try and build something with me and Scott where every 30 seconds we switch. So we're going to have a timer on the screen, and every 30 seconds we need you, the audience, to yell, "Switch!" And we'll have to switch out and keep coding. So the idea of the application is that it's going to pull a dad joke from the API icanhasdadjoke.com. It's going to... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yes. No, it's going to display the joke on the page.
We'll have a button to fetch a new joke.
And then it must use hooks and state to do all of this.
So we've got 35 minutes maximum. Do you think we can do it?
We actually don't know because we have not
we
practiced
we were like talking, and then I was like, oh, maybe we should... No, stop. Because it would be more hilarious.
Well, we kept on shrinking it. We were like, it's going to be 10 minutes. We're going to get a minute each. We're like, how about 30 seconds each?
Yeah.
How about 5 minutes?
Because I think it'd be funnier if it fails catastrophically.
Yeah, it could fail catastrophically. That is...
So we are going to flip a toonie.
We got to get this.
Which is a $2 coin in Canada. And if it's heads, Scott will start first. If it's tails, I will start first. Tails.
Oh, you start? You started.
I'm starting.
All right.
So.
Oh wait, we gotta keep some run room in here.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be.
I need some coding room though.
You got a hunch.
Okay. Yeah.
Get the hunch going.
Okay. Here we go. As soon as I click this, it starts. Ready? Oh, by the way, we have Create ReactOp. This is the base Create ReactOp ready to go. Past that, we've not npm installed anything else, and we're ready to go. Ready? Go. Go. All right, so we've got icanhasdadjoke.com.
I don't know what the API is, so you should do the API grabbing first, because
Okay,
I'm not familiar with this
function
API.
use dad, and up here we'll say const API is equal to that. That's the API endpoint.
Yeah.
And then in here we'll say const. Oh, we got to import use state.
Well, we're not even having a.
Ah!
We got a functional component.
Finish.
We gotta have a functional component.
Conosto.
Oh.
Scott,
Wait,
you gotta
what are we
finish
doing?
importing use state.
Oh. What do you want?
I typed use.
Okay. Oh.
Okay. So this is
da-
state. Okay, data and update data. Set data. Okay. Use state and object. Yeah. Okay.
It was supposed to have a loading state too. I don't think that's
Now
happening.
I'm gonna make a function called fetch joke,
Yeah.
and I'm going to make that a sync.
Yeah, it's got to be a sync.
And const response is equal to await fetch API, and I know that this API needs an accept
I don't know the header,
header.
so you got to do the header part because I don't know what these headers
Okay.
are.
Headers.
I've not used this API.
Oh shit! Shoot, Adam, cut that out.
What?
I did a / on headers.
Well, it's okay. It doesn't need to be working right now. Wait, why is this lowercase?
No, don't use dad. Use
wait.
dad as the hook.
What is a functional component?
You gotta make a component called like joke.
Oh, man. We got 3 minutes.
Okay, here it is. Is it working? Except is not defined. Oh, that's because I never finished writing my header.
Yeah, you got to write the header.
So except in the docs say it needs to be application JSON. So go ahead and
Come on, man.
I'm stressing. Okay, so we await that. And then, next step, I need you to convert the response to JSON. Await.
Yeah, await.
Res.json.
Res.json.
And then console log the data just to see if it's working.
We don't got time for that.
Okay.
It's working.
Okay. Now go inside your joke.
Yeah.
And above the return, you need to use the hook. So
wait, why are we doing a custom hook?
Switch.
Why are we doing a custom hook? Why don't we just put this inside the component?
So from here we need to return. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Return the data and the set data function because we want to have a button. Set. Oh my god. Set data.
Why do we put this out? Why do we make a custom hook?
What's going on here? Why did we make a custom hook?
Yeah.
Const.
We could just done it in the component.
Data. Set data.
Switch.
Is equal to.
Switch it.
Use dad.
We're using dad here. All right.
Okay.
How does the data come into this?
I don't know. We have to console log it or put a breakpoint in.
This is the API.
Go back. Okay.
Why do we have an extra bracket?
New Chrome.
Object.
Shit, it's not in there. What? Switch. Okay, gotta go to network tab.
No. Get property.
Does anyone see why this isn't working? I need an effect. We didn't actually run it. Use. No, the endpoint is that. Yeah, we forgot our effect. Use effect. Because we just defined the function, but it's yellow because we never used it.
Yeah.
So we need to use effect.
Right. Yeah.
Inside the hook.
Yep.
No.
Inside the hook?
Inside the hook.
Why not inside the component? Man, I'm used to doing stuff inside the component.
We didn't talk about how we did this. Yeah. No. Below the not inside of the fetch joke. No. Oh my gosh.
The whole thing? Oh, shit.
No, we keep going. 1 more minute. Overtime.
Why do we do this in a custom hook?
In here, we're going to use effect, and this is an arrow function.
Yeah, that was what was there.
And in here, we actually call the fetch joke endpoint. Hey, there it is. Okay, and then inside of here, data.joke.
Switch.
Hey! Now the button. It's not called set data. That's a bad name for it, but it's destructured, so it doesn't matter.
We just need to use that.
No.
Wait,
no.
God dang, I'll do this differently.
All right. It's fine. I'll fix it.
You shouldn't have started first.
All right, undo.
Why do you want to do it by refetch?
What's it called? Use dad.
Yeah.
Use dad, and then
that was at refetch, and you deleted it.
Here is refetch.
No.
And then on click.
The button text.
Oh.
Sag.
Click the button.
Yeah. No.
Oh, what's dispatch?
Juice.
Oh, in the return data.
Oh.
No.
Oh, yeah.
In the array.
Yeah.
Save.
Oh.
Click it. Oh!
Custom hook. It doesn't need a custom hook.
It doesn't need a custom hook?
No, we could have just done it in the function.
No, but look how clean that is. Use Dad.
We're not reusing this.
Open sourced. Oh. Man, sweaty. That was fun.
It could have been so much easier.
Oh, man. Well, thank you so much for yelling switch at us. I thought that was pretty fun. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up is Stumped. We need a few brave souls to line up right over here that will be willing to answer or attempt to answer some React questions.
For prizes.
For prizes.
We have stickers, and we have some T-shirts that will be mailed to you.
Come on. There we go.
Yeah. How many questions we got here?
I think we got like 6 questions or so.
Okay.
Can I stand in the light?
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Come stand over here. Come grab the microphone.
Well, we'll
pass it over.
Yeah.
All right. We need a few more brave souls. Come on, come line up over here. All right.
These aren't
number
too
1.
cruel, we promise.
Kyle. Thanks for being the brave first, Kyle. So the question is, what is a React Pure component for? I don't even know this one. I had to ask Scott. There's a couple of these I had to ask Scott the answer to.
It's a component that always returns the same thing if its props are the same. Maybe?
Close. That's like a pure function, so let's give it to him anyway. Who wants to? Anyone from the audience want to answer? Yeah. No.
Should component update does a shallow compare prop.
Yeah.
Bam! So should component update does a shallow compare, meaning that if you pass it a string or a number, that thing will always change. But if you pass it an object and the properties of that object change, then it won't cause a re-render.
Yeah.
Interesting. Give him a pack of stickers.
And come see me after. I'll get you
Scott's
for the
got some-
T-shirts.
some
I got the
tees as
T-shirts,
well.
but they're not here.
Next
All
one.
Question
Francisco.
number 2. Why might you use a callback with set state?
Oh, because after set state, it's something that runs asynchronously. So you want to make sure that something runs after the state was set.
Beautiful. Great answer. Yeah. By the way, I was curious before this.
Oh, sorry. No, continue.
I was curious about like how does that work with hooks, right? Because there's no callback with the hook set state, and I read into it, and it's if you want to do something when state changes, then use an effect. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So obviously we didn't do that there, but if you do run into that problem, you probably want to reach for an effect. Question 3: how might you reverse an array without mutating the original array?
You can use a spread operator and just the reverse.
Bing, bing, bing. Got it. So some way to copy the array, spread array from, or what's the way we used to do it before? Like slice,
and
whatever. You gotta Google it every time you need to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Good.
Beauty.
What's your name?
Yohei.
Yo hey. All right. Question number 4. Can you explain what a downtown job is?
What?
Any listeners in the crowd that want to come run up and answer this one?
This is a
I
little
have no
inside
idea.
joke here.
Job where the commute makes you hate your life.
No.
It's not a job where the commute makes you hate your life.
No.
Is it legal? Yes. All right, this is something Scott's dad came up with. Please explain, Scott.
Yeah. A downtown job is just doing a really good job on something. When we used to mow the lawn for our neighbors, he always used to tell us, you better do a downtown job on this, which apparently his dad told him.
Like a really good job.
It's a really good job. So yeah.
Oh, wow, awesome. Thank you.
All right, we need some more people.
We got 2 more?
Yeah, right here.
All right.
What's your name?
My name is Shannon.
Thank you, Shannon. Question number 5. When would you
dear God.
use reducer in React hooks? This is something I had to ask God about again.
As someone who has no experience with hooks or React 16, I would say you would use reducer when you want to make a state. I actually Googled this yesterday. When you would use state versus use reducer, and I didn't read the thing, but it's on my laptop right now.
Good. The tab is open. That's all.
Yeah, the tab is open, so I'll get to it.
It's red, yeah.
Something about changing data.
Good.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Scott, you want to fill in a little
Thank
bit more on
you.
that?
Basically, you use reducer when your state needs are more complex than just a simple set state. You got arrays, you got objects, you got stuff you got to deal with that's more than just a simple set state. Or you feel like just using a reducer for whatever reason.
You want to answer a question? Oh, beautiful.
All right.
I just pointed at someone. What's her name? Vishal.
Vishal, number 6. What makes use layout effect different from use effect?
I don't know, but it affects the layout.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you use layout effect when you need to wait for the DOM updates to finish before, rather than just use effect.
Any more brave souls? Yeah, come on up. What's your name? Ben.
Ben, how many we got left? Is this the last one?
I think so.
We always do this.
Yeah, I never know how many questions there are.
Number 7.
Number 7 is, what prop type would you use for an object that contains a number and a string?
You would use prop type.one of type, I believe, and then you'd pass in an array, which would be a prop type.number or prop type, comma, prop type.string. Or
Close.
you can use node, I believe.
The keyword here is object.
An
object. Oh, okay.
Not either, but an object with both of those inside of it.
I think there's a prop type that allows you to do objects. I guess it's object, and I think you can pass it keys for the object keys.
Close enough. It's shape.
Shape.
But yeah, you pass it keys.
Hard one to
Beautiful.
remember.
Thank you. One of type is also very...
Yeah.
All right, folks. Now it's time for a segment that we like to call Unpopular Opinions. So the creator of JavaScript recently tweeted, Unpopular Opinions, React.js edition. And this caused everyone to tweet their unpopular opinions. So what we're going to do now is go through some of these unpopular opinions. We're going to go through some of the more popular unpopular opinions and give our thoughts on them. First, unpopular opinion is from Alex R. Anderson, 1993. Does anyone else feel super old when people have 1990 in their username?
You bet.
Oh.
You bet.
React Life primitives should be included in browser engines, JSX, Virtual DOM, Reconciler, scheduling, etc. In other words, React should become the platform. Ooh, spicy opinion there.
Spicy bit.
We saw, who's been a developer for more than like 8 years? When did we see this before, when people had this opinion of it should just be included in the browser? jQuery.
Yeah.
Everyone's, and less too.
Yeah.
Less should just be part. With almost everything they say, this should just be
It
part
should
of the
be
browser. Just ship it with the browser. And
jQuery
ultimately,
kind of is.
we
yeah.
got
Yeah,
jQuery
it's
in the
kinda-
browser. So,
I mean, it's, yeah.
what do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they should have some sort of like components on the web or something. I don't know.
They could call it web components.
I don't know. Next up, we have a tweet from Ryan Florence, and he says the majority of logic people write in React for data loading and hooks makes it more confusing for people than classes. The suspense maybe should have come before hooks. Yeah, this one's kind of interesting because it's like, in one hand, hooks have been this like revelation in terms of writing really clean, simple code.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, we're still missing this big component of it, which is going to be suspense for data loading. So, yeah, I mean,
I think so. I'm really excited about suspense for data loading because it's going to make fetching data easier. The code we just wrote, you'll notice right here.
It could have been easier.
Why did I do
hook.
an anonymous function here? Why didn't I not just pass it fetch joke? Anyone know? Yeah, you can't pass an async function to use effect because an async function returns a promise, which if you return something from use effect, it's like a teardown function, right? Or a will unmount function. So it's a little bit funky. It works. Scott didn't like my solution, but
Well,
Maybe we should do a V2 after. Next one we have from Prismic. React is a framework. Barney Devil emoji. I think so.
Yeah, it's
React
kind
is
of
a framework.
Yeah.
Don't well actually us. Spicy opinion there.
Next up, we have from Aaron Garcia. Hooks are harder to understand for beginners than classes. It also takes time to do things with hooks, mentally mapping them to what we'll do in classes. For example, when using useEffect, you always think about like which lifecycle method. And this is actually kind of true, because even when I'm teaching hooks, I don't say this is what the lifecycle method is. But when I'm teaching them, I say, well, if you've used lifecycle methods, you kind of have experience with how these things work. This is how it sort of correlates to that.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know.
I don't think it's more difficult or harder.
I would like to hear like a beginner who comes at it fresh without knowing life cycle methods and just knowing when this thing goes on the page, here's where you put your code. When this thing updates, this code will run again, and when the thing goes off the page, here's where you put the other code. So I don't know.
It's probably preconceived. Like
we
have
we
this
got
idea how to
baggage.
do it. Yeah, it's baggage. Yeah,
It's baggage.
Yeah.
Next one from Sebastian. Oh, you know I always goof up names on podcast. How do you say his last name? That was really good. Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.
React doesn't
luck.
deprecate and delete things quickly enough. Really? I think if React moved any quicker than it already does, there would be a lot more tears. What do you think?
Yeah. No. Just think about the React router every time it updates. So you go to
There's
Hacker
a new one
News
today?
and people are.
I don't think so. Everyone's like, shoot.
Next up from Jared Palmer. The learning curve is still too steep for folks with just basic HTML and CSS skills. I think this one's interesting because we do see like frameworks and platforms like Gatsby come about where you don't really even have to know that much to get a basic HTML site up and running. I mean, you don't even have to have any interactive JavaScript in there or hooks or any of that stuff.
No, you don't.
State management or whatever.
You don't need state
You
or
just spit out
classes.
you spit out that, and that's pretty easy.
That's what's so cool about Gatsby is it's at the very basic. It's just templating, and you can just get up and running. And that's very much how probably half of this room learned web development was they just got up and running with templating through WordPress, and then they learned a little bit more, and then they learned about custom queries, and then they learned about plugins, and then before you know it, you're a full-on PHP developer that grew up on WordPress. So
Learning when you need it.
there you go. So I'm pretty excited. And even things like Vue as well. I think it's they have less of a steep learning curve, but I think Gatsby's doing a lot in this space to make it very beginner friendly.
Yeah.
Next up, Sergey Rizov. We replaced Redux with use context and use reducer combination in a middle-sized project. We are fine. So
Yeah, I did it.
I did it in
Yeah,
a couple
I did
projects
it.
as well. Big
Fine.
fan. Obviously not total replacement, but for a lot of use cases where people just want global state, or at least state a little bit higher than where they have it, then they can.
Yeah, people will be like, I'm writing a blog. It's time to use Redux or something. But no, I mean it's super duper useful in the right use case. Next one is from Sophie Alpert, and she says most people make React apps more complicated than they need to be. Yeah, I agree with this. Yeah, I think they do. Everyone's adding like 100 files with one line of code to do one little thing, and then just again spit out a.
We love patterns
yeah.
and to overcomplicate
Before it's
things and
needed.
high order component and render prop everything and premature hookization. Yeah, like apparently I used the hook when I shouldn't have today.
No, you could. Well, okay.
Wait, we got time. What did I do wrong?
No, you didn't do anything wrong. You overcomplicated it.
I overcomplicated it.
We could have put this
Don't blame
whole
the
thing.
user.
You could have just had a use effect
Yeah, you're
as
right.
basically a did mount, and then you could have had the data
Oh, I
fetch
could-
function inside of the component.
But think about reusability, Scott.
But we're not reusing this.
But imagine, and we could compose it into all kinds of different kinds of jokes.
That's why you threw
and
me
create a
off.
framework.
Yeah.
Yeah, a dad framework. So you got to think about the future, Scott. Next one from Parker McMullen. I like Vue simplified looping over a range of numbers better than all of the hacks people use in React. Oof. What do you think?
I don't know.
I think we should have loops in JSX. I think that's.
If we had them, I don't know if I'd use them.
Who
though.
wants
I would
loops in
probably just
JSX?
use maps still.
One person wants loops
I
in
would probably
JSX.
just use maps still.
All right, we'll hang out later. Just use map. What about if statements? Who wants if statements in JSX?
It might be a little
All
bit,
right,
yeah.
6 people. We can hang out later.
Yeah. I don't know if I need them, but yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to do it, but, other people. All right, now we are going to end off the show with a Q&A. So if you've got questions about web development or thoughts on anything, React in general, just let us know. We've got a mic here. You can also just stand up and shout them out. Yep.
What was the first applications you worked on?
What was the first applications we worked on? Ever? Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. This really gets
from
into
like
the question
not
of
a
what's an
website,
application.
but like an actual application.
First application. I built a car picker in Ford.com. So it's like this thing where there's like a billion cars and you have to tell it what you want. And I tell this story because it's hilarious about Q&A. Every time we Q&A'd it, we only had like 5 or 6 models because it was just like a prototype. And we took it to Q&A, and this one guy was like, I hate it. And we were like, well, why do you hate it? He's like, there's no Mustang. We're like, oh, okay. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Mine was a daily deal aggregator. When Groupon and Living Social and 40 of those other sites became popular, I created an aggregator through like a PHP. It was this library that implemented all of jQuery's methods in PHP called PHP Query, because at the time there was no Node and there was no like virtual DOM where you could like load the DOM. So somebody wrote like a thing where you could scrape a page and then like use these like weird selectors. What are those like XML selectors called? XPath, yeah. You had to write these like XPath selectors, and then it aggregated into one big page, and I made a bunch of like Groupon bucks. Like they give you $10 every time you refer a friend, and I had like $4,000 in Groupon.
Swimming in
and,
Groupon bucks.
Man, we went on sushi dates and massages for forever. But that is gone. Yep. What React problem stumped us for the longest time?
That's a great question. Server-side rendering with code splitting and data fetching in an all custom thing. It was just like I couldn't get all 3 of them to work. Get 2 of them to work. It's like any 2 of them, pick 2 of them. I could get them all 2 to work. It was like, please, just work. Just come in, data.
I think the biggest hump for me was when Redux started to come out and this idea of like pure functions started to get popular. Trying to like switch my brain from thinking like, you want to take an item from out of an array, or you want to take the item, just pop it off the array or unshift it, and moving to no, you can't mutate the original array, but you got to create a new one and then just take that out and put the rest of the items back in the new array. And I was but why? And then I got bit by it, and then like all developers, like you can read as much as you want about these topics, but it's only until you get bit by it, like, oh, that's why everyone's talking about this.
Yeah, that's so true. Every problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the most expensive coding mistake you've ever made?
Ooh, what's the most expensive coding mistake? Do you have any stories?
I have a pretty decent one, but it's not involved in the coding itself, but I ran git clean on the home directory of my computer and erased a bunch of animations I had been working on for a client, so I had to like spend a whole nother week reanimating, and this was in like After Effects, so it was so much work. I like erased an entire week's, maybe even a month's worth of progress with a git clean because I thought I was in the project's directory.
One time I thought I nuked a 40-person company's email because I transferred their domain, and by transferring it away from their hosting provider, it removed all of their email addresses, and I was like, oh shoot, I have just nuked 40 people's email addresses. And it turns out that those were old, and they were using Google Apps for their email, and I just had to reinstate the MX records, and everything was back. But that was very scary. And then also, like, who used like Coda back in the day, where they had an FTP built right in?
Yeah.
So many times I would just like live edit or off
Oh
the,
yeah, your
off
PHP
the
file,
server.
white screen.
Yeah, or one time I paid somebody like $200 to like fix something, and they just SSH'd into the server and fixed it for me, and they worked like for a couple hours on it, and then I had the file still open locally, and I hit save, and it uploaded and overwrote it, and it's gone, right? Like, talk about that like built-in FTP was responsible for so many bad practices that nobody talks. Like, let's just all be honest right here. How many of you like live edited off the server at some point when you were first starting? Like everybody, right? Terrible.
Yeah. When I first started, I like white screened a Magento site, and I didn't know about error locks, so it was my first time working in PHP. I was like, well, it's a white screen. I might as well just start over.
Oh.
Yeah.
Other questions? Yeah.
Scott, will you do some breakdancing for us?
Scott, will you do some breakdancing?
We can,
Like a handstand or something?
we can find some space here.
There's the spot right there.
Yeah, but that's not enough space. Do you understand what we're working
I don't
with?
know anything about breakdancing, no.
Yes. We find some space.
Awesome. Other questions? Yeah.
Yes, as an introduction of books, I'm seeing that React is trying to go with writing more class components, right? As by your opinion, do you think there was need to introduce classes in JavaScript, even when they were still hustling with understanding what this keyword?
Do you think we need, the question is, do you think we need classes in JavaScript? Oh yeah. I ran a poll on Twitter, and I said, do you use classes in JavaScript? And I think about 9,000 people answered it, and the result was 50-50. Exactly 50-50. Not 47-53 or whatever, exactly 50-50. And that is a topic that people will go blue in the face talking about forever and ever until we all die. So
Spicy bit.
Can we have them? Sure. Do you have to use them? No. If you don't want to, just don't use them. If you do want to use them, keep going with it. Yeah.
How do you explain to your mom what you do?
How do we explain to our mom?
I think my mom's watching right now.
Yeah.
I think she knows. Yeah.
Hi, Mrs. Tolinski. Where's the camera?
Yeah. No. She actually, one of my very first projects was working on a site for my parents. So they're very familiar with sort of what goes into building stuff and they ran an e-commerce shop for a long time. So they're very familiar with the amount of work that goes into what we do. And then the YouTube stuff, the podcast stuff, they're our biggest fans. They listen all the time.
I don't think my mom knows like the nitty gritty. She knows I make websites, and every now and then she thinks I should get a job. You should get a job. Your dad had a job for 40 years or whatever.
Invented CSS.
But yeah, I just say it's really easy. Have you been to a website? Yeah, I make those. Cool, that's it, right? But that does often get people coming to you with their ideas for websites, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, lots of them.
I'm sure you all get that as well. What do we got? A couple minutes left. Yeah. How do you explain React?
Legos. Hey, you've got Lego here, you got Lego here, you put them together, you make something. You make a dinosaur.
By the way, did you know one of the companies, it didn't make the thing, but one of the companies that uses React is Lego? And I asked the guy that works at Lego, I was like, how often do you talk about React components like they're Lego blocks, right? And he said, unfortunately, never, which I thought was a bummer, like a very huge missed opportunity in Lego. How would I explain React? I don't know, live variables, maybe? Does a 5-year-old know what a variable is? No. I don't know, that's a good question. Wait, my daughter's only 4, so
React for
I'll let you
babies,
know in a
let's
year.
get on it, Wes.
React for babies, that would do well. Has anyone ever bought that, HTML for babies?
I got it.
And it's terrible, right?
It's not so good.
It's full of mistakes and has type JavaScript, and I'm like, I gotta make a better one, modern.
You sound like
HTML
me
for
critiquing
babies.
the Disney Channel right now.
Babies the good parts. Yep. What made me start wanting to learn how to code?
We have oddly similar stories, I think.
Yeah, I was like a hardcore kid making t-shirts and CD art and stuff like that, and MySpace came around, and people wanted MySpaces to match their CD art, so I learned CSS from that. And I've always been like super into computers though, so it's inevitable, I think.
Yeah, we had a band as well, and we went Angel Fire.
Yeah,
and
Angel
so
Fire.
we hooked into Angel Fire, and then we were like, oh, we have to have some animations on this thing. So then we went to Flash. We were like, for some reason, we need the Matrix things coming down, so that we threw in some JavaScript.
Yeah, flamingtext.com, I
yeah,
remember that.
Some animated GIFs, yeah.
Yeah, .tk domains. Anyone have a .tk domain? So like .tk, at some point in their life, they offered free .tk domains. And you could just, like, I had wesbos.tk, and it's like, I don't know can you even get a .tk domain anymore? I don't think so.
I don't know about that.
That was, I had a pretty sweet .tk domain. Other questions? Yeah? What's the hackiest thing we have ever done?
I hacked together, like maybe the one, because I only have a very limited amount of time to do this. This is pre-Angular, I hacked together probably maybe the world's worst like voting system with jQuery in about a couple hours that was then used on stage at a breakdancing competition in front of 20,000 some people in South Korea, and I just like went to town on this thing, and it was so bad. The code is absolutely super duper brittle, and I'm sure I was like watching this from a live stream, just like, please don't break. Like,
that's funny. I don't know. Like I look back at all the code I've written in my early career, and it was all extremely hacky. But at the time, I was very proud of it. I thought it worked great, right?
Yeah, it's like whatever you wrote last week was the hackiest code.
I've written a lot of, probably my first ever integration, I wrote this massive, for that daily deal site I was talking about, I wrote this huge integration with MailChimp. And I didn't know that there was this thing called transactional email, where you could, like, each person wanted to get a new email with their local daily deals. So I wrote this huge thing that would like take people's emails in and put them into like a bucket of like MailChimp subscribers, and then filter that, and then for each city find the equivalent bucket and loop through those people, and then send out a mass email to those people. And that would have been so much easier if I just like used queues and transactional email. But like I didn't even know that was a thing at the time, because I was just like brand new to building this stuff. So I'm surprised that worked. I made like good money off of it, but it was really, really hacky. One more. Yeah?
Where do you see yourselves in 10 years?
Where do we see ourselves in 10 years? Wassum. I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know, yeah. Yeah, I can't even predict like 5 years.
No, and I always say this, it's like I don't predict anything. I just follow the trends. I thought React was dumb when it was first announced, like everybody else, and here we are today at a React thing. So there's much smarter people predicting that stuff and trying to figure out what that looks like, and I'll just kind of play along.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming out. This was a live Syntax FM. We'd love to come say hi. We'll be around later, and we're at syntax.fm if you want to subscribe. Thanks, everyone.
Yep.